So at the beginning of the week, what we started with was just character design. And that was basically to get a concept of how characters are, in our mind at least, three-dimensional, not just flat on the page. We wanted to create characters who lived in a world. So what we did is we designed characters, what makes characters interesting to look at, and also be able to turn them and give the illusion of having depth and roundness. After we developed the characters, we went on to discuss storyboarding and telling stories to move forward, how to compose a scene with the characters in it, and how different angles affect feeling, how they draw your eye to a specific point if something is important to the story, and things you want to leave out that are not essential. From storyboarding, we went on to doing flip books. In flip books, we did essentially the bouncing ball, and in this case, we did a dropping bomb, which was more interesting to everyone. Then, once they were done with that, kind of letting them do some free-form things. You know, if they wanted to do, they had an idea they wanted to work out digitally, and they can use the computers to draw it directly in, or they can use paper to draw it and scan it back in. Either format is acceptable. It's just whatever you feel comfortable doing. Some people like to use the computers more. But I felt it was important to start with traditional media, just to give it a good foundation. The huge advantage to the new technology is you don't have the waste that you had before. When you would do like Disney animation, you're doing 24 frames a second. And that means for each character or each plane you see on the screen, that's 24 cell sheets. Like it's thrown out essentially. When you have digital, you pretty much have the advantage of going right onto the screen. You can do all your sketching, all that, and it's all right there. And the nice thing about it too is when you output it, it outputs automatically to a video format, so you don't have to process the film, you don't have to go through this. It can all be done right inside the computer and practically onto a DVD if you wanted to. Because you're not using up resources that you would normally go, oh, don't waste that if you're not ready for it. You are a lot freer to experiment. Animation is extremely time consuming, as they all learned. Just to create a few seconds of film, it's a lot of drawing. So it kind of makes you respect it a little better, a little more when you walk away. And it's like, wow. Now when you go to a movie and you see that, you think, wow, that took a lot of work. Being here in the Norman Rockwell Museum was a real blessing. The resources, just being able to go up and look at some of the displays. They had Blue Sky doing their display upstairs, and it was beautifully done. And there are plenty of examples of storyboards and three-dimensional objects that everybody could use for reference. A lot of nice things to work with here.
Yeah, keep going.